Hi, fourth grade. In this video, I'm going to be explaining to you the activity called What's the Difference Between Weather and Climate from the science part of your menu. So let's first start by reading the directions together. Read the Newsella article titled, What's the Difference Between Weather and Climate? Then create a poster, Venn diagram, or write a paragraph to explain the difference between weather and climate. So for this activity, I chose to do a Venn diagram because I really like the way that we're able to see the things that are special about climate, the things that are special about weather, but then also easily see what they share in common. So let's now start by reading the article together. So the article is called What's the Difference Between Weather and Climate? What's the Difference Between Weather and Climate by National Geographic Society. So the first thing I noticed when I was looking at this article was this really cool picture. So this picture has a caption at the bottom that explains what is going on in this picture. It says, a hailstorm is a weather event. It is different than climate. Here, large amounts of hail cover a landscape in Marion, Kansas. So all of this little white stuff on the ground is actually hail. That's really cool. It can be very cold during winter, but even so, average temperatures on Earth are rising. It's happening around the world. This is known as global warming. Almost all scientists agree that global warming is real. They also agree that humans are causing it. How can we still have cold weather and global warming? It's because weather and climate are two different things. Weather is what's happening right now. Weather is what happens in the air closest to Earth. It can be hot and sunny or rainy and cold. It could be cloudy, windy, and stormy. It can rain or snow. The sun heats the air. Warm air rises or goes up. Cold air rushes in to fill its place. This causes wind. Air also holds water gas called water vapor. The wind and the water in the air cause clouds, rain, and snow. It causes storms to form and move. Weather is always changing. Scientists study the weather. They look at satellites, weather stations, and instruments that float in the ocean. They try to tell what weather is coming in the next few days or weeks. This is called a forecast. Weather forecasts are very important. They warn people. Big storms can cause floods. Dry winds can spread forest fires. Climate describes conditions over a long time. Weather can last for days or weeks or months. Climate is what the weather is like over a long time. This is usually 30 years or more. A very cold winter can happen even when the world is getting warmer. Climate is different around the world. Different types of plants and animals live in different climates. Weather and climate are connected. A change in climate can lead to changes in weather patterns. This time, humans are changing the climate. Climate change is not new. The climate has changed many times in Earth's history. Now it is changing much faster. Humans are causing the change. People burn coal, gas, and oil. These are called fossil fuels. They formed from plants and animals that were buried a long time ago. We use fossil fuels to power our cars, trucks, buses, and trains. We use them to turn on the lights, heat our homes, and run factories. Burning fossil fuels puts carbon dioxide into the air. Carbon dioxide is a kind of greenhouse gas. These gases are like the glass roof in a greenhouse. They allow heat from the sun to come into the atmosphere. They trap the heat. The Earth gets warmer. The Earth is getting warmer. Global warming is already happening. In the last 100 years, Earth has warmed by more than 1 degree Fahrenheit. Sea ice is melting. Glaciers are shrinking. Sea levels rising. Events like floods, wildfires, and hurricanes happen more often. When they do, they are stronger. Animals and plants are moving to cooler areas. Scientists first learned about how greenhouse gases affect the atmosphere in the 1800s. In the late 1930s, scientists found that Earth was already getting warmer. In the 1980s, people started to do something about the warming. In 1988, the United Nations formed a group. It is called the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Since then, countries have agreed to lower how much carbon dioxide they put out. In 2015, almost 200 countries agreed to lower the greenhouse gases they make. This is called the Paris Agreement. In 2017, the United States left the agreement. On a list of countries that put out greenhouse gases, the United States is the second. So now we're going to look back at what we are supposed to do with this article. So the directions tell us that we are to read the article, so we did that. Then create a poster, a Venn diagram, or write a paragraph to explain the difference between weather and climate. So in each of my circles, I am going to put what these words mean. So for weather, I'm going to look back into the article. So let's go back. And let's find something to write about weather. So up at the very beginning of the article is where they first talked about weather. So weather is what's happening right now. Weather is what happens in the air closest to Earth. So I think that's what we should write in the circle. That would make sense. Weather is what happens in the air closest to Earth. Now, what about climate? What does climate mean? Well, let's go back to the article. So let's find the subheading where it talks about climate. Oh, here we are. Climate describes conditions over a long time. Climate is what the weather is like over a long time. So I'm going to write that under my climate section of my Venn diagram. What the weather is like over a long time. And maybe we can be a little bit more specific if we go back to the article. What do they mean by a long time? How long? This is usually 30 years or more. So I think that's important for us to add. So let's add it. Over 30 years or more. And I would just keep going and keep filling in my weather side and my climate side. Then the most interesting part to me is what they have in common. What do weather and climate share? So to complete this activity, you're going to either finish the Venn diagram, or maybe you're making a poster, or maybe you're writing a paragraph. Either way, make sure that you describe the difference between those two terms, weather and climate, and make sure to talk about what they share in common. All right, guys, that is how you complete that activity. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.